I also I'm wondering in how would you describe the different style which happened to the music, and where would you see you? Because in the 20th century music, you might be described as more of a composer of m- melodies, of tunes. The 20th century music is atonal, and your music is more tonal, yet it is a modern music.
There's more than one way to be modern. Unfortunately, in the minds of some people, there are certain tricks almost that you need to engage in order to what they think is modernism. Let's not forget, I started early and I lived through the 1960s. I I came out of the music that I like to listen to, and in the late 50s. In the 1960s, I found myself already under tutelage of Professor Hundiak, who basically directed me directed me to the music of the day. So indeed, I mean, there were certain things that one needed to do and not to do, and that well, I'm not going to go into the characteristics of this music of the 60s, except I'll say it was supposed to be atonal, non-triadic, certain pleasant until now intervals like thirds were to be avoided, and the music was to be filled with let's say dissonances, major sevenths and tritons, etc. Essentially, well, I lived through it. I did my share. I have compositions which are, some of them are still performed to this day, like my string quartet from 1967. And at one point I had to say to myself, do I want to stay there, or do I want to embrace everything in my style? I didn't. Suddenly I questioned, the principles of writing new music. I questioned certain don'ts. I mean, why shouldn't you use octaves? Why shouldn't you use triads? There are other ways to be modern through the execution of certain ideas, through the architecture, especially through the architecture, through the textures, through. So it's not that I abandoned, let's say, the music of clusters of the 1960s. I incorporated it into a broader range of things, into broader context, and gradually I brought certain aspects of tonality back into my music. At the same time, for whatever reason, I said to myself, what's going on? Why is it that melody is to be excluded from writing? And I felt that I deliberately set myself the task of bringing melody back into music, some kind of aspect of melody, something that would still maintain contact with the past, but at the same time look into the future. Be present. I mean, I'm not sure if I fully support this notion. I mean, of looking into the future. We don't know what the future will bring, but at least maintaining certain contact with the past while you are living the life of the present. We don't know, in a sense, what the future will bring, but one should be definitely, and that's what I learned from Nadia Boulanger, one should be independent of the prevailing and fashionable trends at any given time. One should try to find answers within himself, herself, and not worry about the external pressures that we will have anyway.